Killer Orcs now.
Yeah, but they still make it so you have to be evil when you play them and blah blah blah, whatever, who
Did they?
cares? Yeah, like I'm pretty let me pull up Orc real quick. Just because I'm pretty sure it
Because I
says they
remember there
have
was
to
like
play an
this
evil
whole
character.
thing. There's this
DMG,
whole
nope.
thing.
We have Elber or is this fucking Eberron? Yeah, I don't care about Eberron. Let's go to Volos. Volos. Um,
Alignment.
where alignment. Orcs are vicious
They are
raiders.
usually chaotic
They are
evil.
usually chaotic evil. Uh,
That's funny.
and believe strong must bully the weak to ensure that weakness does not spread like a disease.
They did this whole thing where they got all up in a tizzy because apparently people thought that like half-orcs were an analog for black people,
Hmm.
and then and so they did all this like nonsense
Well,
like
here's
Bizarre.
orcs.
paint over half-orc stuff to make it
Dude,
quote
it's
unquote less racist,
funny.
and then they just threw orcs in there and they're like, fuck it.
You could put dandelions and posies as
In a shit
as
pie.
characters, and then somebody's gonna make it about freaking racist whatever.
I don't know, I don't see a lot of people talking about racism in halflings, but that's not what we're here for today. The stream started like 2 minutes ago. I literally just started in the middle of us talking because I didn't give two shits. Um,
About racism. A
no
real
racism
win.
in this chat. No racism. Right. Does my stream keys work again? If my stream keys stop working,
Do you want me to double check?
I've got it pulled up, but yeah, my stream keys aren't working. It's fine. I'll have to go back through and fix that since I updated Streamlabs. I probably just fucked with them. D&D races. You know them, you hate them. Everybody loves D&D, but everybody hates picking a race. Just kidding. That's the only thing that you get to do.
Just kidding. Nobody loves D&D.
Yeah, play MCC. It's fine.
Oh yeah, no, you picked the wrong two people, or the wrong
Yeah.
two people are in this
To
chat for
talk
this.
about D&D. Yeah, you
It's
pick the people who like D&D the least.
I literally only had you two.
Yep.
You are my only options. Anyway, quick disclaimer for anybody who gives a shit. We're only ranking base races. I'm not doing sub races because I don't have 6 hours, and I doubt you do too. Anyway, we're going to be going through A to Z, or in this case Y, because that's as far down as they go, and ranking them in aesthetic and efficiency. And that's
I think
basically it.
the only sub races that matter are Drow and the what's the naturey elves
Genasi.
and everything. No, the naturey
What
elves. They
elves?
have a no. It's in fourth edition 4e elf nature things.
Well, we're ranking 5e, so that's fine.
No, but they're in 5e. You fucking
Uh,
goofball.
They probably
God damn
are.
it.
you can see how
Eladrin,
little
that's the
I've
first
read the
one.
book.
Oh, but Eladrin aren't a playable race.
I know, but they're a sub race. What I'm saying is like
They're
those are the
not a
only two
sub
sub
race.
races. They are Eladrin.
Not in 5e tools. Elf, Drow. Oh no, Eladrin's with an E. I thought it was with a name.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm stupid.
Yeah, those are the only sub races
Oops.
that are remotely
Worth your time.
classable as like not being just like a straight copy of a race with like some numbers rearranged. So
Yeah, look at my Ghostwise Halfling. They can telepathy sometimes. Aren't they funny? It's for my emo elf, or my emo assassin rogue who just makes telepathy and stabs people. Anyway, we're gonna start with our very first one, which just happens to be the Aarakocra because their names are stupid.
they
Uh,
get what's give me some stat stuff.
Right, so I pulled up the stats. So they reach maturity around 3, and they don't live longer than 30
Oof.
years, so
Yeah.
cringe. They're
Yep.
whatever alignment they want to be. They're about 5 feet tall. They have a flying speed of 50
Whatever
feet.
alignment they want to be.
Yeah, and you can't fly if you're wearing medium or heavy armor. You have natural weapons, so you do a D4 damage plus your strength instead of bludgeoning damage for an unarmed strike, which I think is stupid. Because I think all damage should be a D4 unarmed rather than just trained damage as a D4 one armed, but it doesn't matter. And then they can read and write Common, Aarakocra, and Auron. It's a +2 Dex, +1
Uh
Wisdom with a medium speed.
I want to give them straight F because they have a flying speed out of the gate because flying speed is bullshit for
Yeah,
first level characters.
as a DM, it's very
Mhm.
easy to be like flying speeds are annoying and bad.
Like I can probably count on like one hand the number of serious games that don't ban Aarakocra because it's just like stupid broken to be able to fly out the gate.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, like, I'm
I
sure people
think
like them.
I think all things considered, Aarakocras have their niche, but it's not at
They're
most
just really
tables.
good.
Are
Yeah,
The thing
they the
is they're
full
too
bird or are they
good.
the bird people?
they're bird people. Here, let me pull up the
Yeah.
let me enlarge in the image for you. They're bird people.
Yeah.
They're like harpies.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going in terms of like sheer viability, it's straight S, and it's like no question about it. It can fucking fly. It gets bonus unarmed damage. It gets bonuses to Dex and Wisdom, which are two of the only stats that matter.
Yeah.
They have apparently no fucking lore on their alignment because wizards couldn't be fucking bothered.
I mean, I just said
Um,
they do whatever, but most Aarakocra are good and rarely choose side when it comes to law and chaos. Tribal leaders and
okay.
warriors might be lawful, while explorers and adventurers might tend towards chaotic. You see where it's just like, be
Okay.
whatever the fuck you want, we don't care?
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
you're you're generic good guy, which
Yeah.
is lame. Like
Yeah.
they're just like so good that they're lame, and
I
so I'd
feel
probably
like
just put it in
Aarakocra would be so
B.
much better if there were NPC races and not player races.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which I believe is what they were intended for when they were made, but I could be
But
wrong.
everybody's like, I want to be a bird.
Yeah. Everyone's like, I want to be able to fly, and then Watsi was like, yeah, sure. This won't totally destroy the fucking balance of most of the things that we have.
Yeah, the only thing about like flying is because in D&D you can fly just up instead of having a set flying like range. You can just fly 50 feet up in one turn.
Yeah, yeah, like well there's just like so much shit that you can do. Like there are a lot of like encounters and stuff and like low level modules and whatnot that are designed around the things that they expect you to be able to do. And so like a lot of times they'll put like a big gap in front of you that you have to find a creative way to solve. And if you can just fucking fly, it's you're just like, oh okay. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Um and it just
The
like it
and
takes the wind out of a lot of things.
I don't think the restriction of medium or heavy armor matters for Aarakocra because nobody's playing like a fighter or a paladin Aarakocra because if you are, you're doing it wrong. You
Yeah,
want to
I mean,
play like a ranger or a rogue or, you
or a
know,
monk.
like a monk.
Yeah, you play a monk because you get bonus unarmed damage out the gate. You get bonuses to Dex and Wisdom. You can fly, so you're much more mobile. Like there's you get unarmed or like unarmored defense and stuff. Like there's no reason not to play a monk as an Aarakocra. It's just pain.
Yeah. So Becca, what are your thoughts on Bird Person?
Um. Can we just call it a broken race?
I can change I can change E to F and F to broken.
Yes, do that because there's going to be a lot of those.
Yeah.
Or
Broken Borb. Yeah, I've only played one Aarakocra and that was Slain.
I've never played one,
I thought that
and I don't
plane was
plan
just a
on it.
full-on bird.
No, Slain was an Aarakocra. I just flavored her to be a bird.
Okay.
Because, you know, they're bird people. I'm a furry.
Mhm.
I'd want a bird. You know. Anyway, next up in our A's is Azamar.
Asmar,
Do we want to go off of
they
Volos or off of DMG? Probably Volos because it's newer, right?
Volos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Volos is +2 charisma with the option to either have another +1 to strength, wisdom, or con depending on your subclass.
Yeah, why not?
Most Azamar are good and Outcast are neutral or evil. They're about the same as humans. They have dark vision. They have resistance to necrotic and radiant. They can heal people up to your level like uh, once per long rest. You know the light cantrip, and you're a charisma caster with it, and you can speak, read, and write common and celestial.
D tier, they have dark vision and the light cantrip. What the fuck?
D tier, no doubles, no double kins. It's fine.
Just give them the fucking light cantrip. They don't need dark vision. They should just be able to make things glow. Like, why do they
Blessed,
have both? It's so stupid.
blessed with a radiant soul, your vision can cut through darkness. You can see in dim light within 60 feet. You can't
Like,
discern
it's
colors in darkness, only shades of gray. You know what that means,
like,
Connor? They need a light cantrip to see in Technicolor.
yeah, they yeah. In order to
That's
get them,
a red wire. I don't know which one it is.
in order to get those sweet Samsung 2 billion colors, they need the light cantrip.
What if what if Azamar are like the bullets shrimp or whatever? Um where they could just like they have cones in their eyes that let them see like 6 times as many colors as we can see. So like we
Yeah,
need the light cantrip because even though we can see in darkness, gray is such a drab color compared
yeah,
to
it's just so
Orange.
boring. Yeah, I just like Azamar in concept are fine. I think that apparently when they were designing them, they had like 2 people do it, and the 2 people that were doing it never talked to each other, and they were like, okay. Um, I like them. I think they look cool. I
Also,
think
Connor,
that
I think
they
they
have
should.
a niche.
I'm
What's up?
worried about putting them in broken because a lot of like I think the subclasses give them flying and you have to pick a subclass.
Yeah, I don't think they're broken. There's subclasses that give them flying. It's like at like 3rd level, I think they can fly once a day,
Right,
which is
because Wolfshard could
like
do that.
yeah, which is like sure, why not? Um, like in terms of like overpowered 5e abilities, it's it's pretty low on the list. Um, overall, I think they're fine. I like them. They're humans. They glow. I'd put them in B.
Yeah, I was gonna say B tier as well. Right.
Becca died.
I was gonna say
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm just realizing how much like I really don't care about D&D races anymore. As
understandable.
bad as that
Anyway,
sounds, it's just like, ah, they're all the same.
we have
There's
bugbears.
bugbears.
Plus
Great.
+2 strength, +1 dex. Bugbears endure harsh distance. They remain self-sufficient. They tend to be chaotic evil. They gain dark vision. They have reach at first level, 5 feet greater than normal. You are one size larger when it comes to carrying your carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, or lift, but nobody gives a shit about that. You're proficient in stealth. If you surprise a creature and hit it with an attack on your first turn in combat, you do 2d6 extra damage to it. You're basically a worse assassin rogue, and you can speak, read, and write Common and Goblin.
I absolutely hate them for 3 reasons. Reason number one,
I played them.
they're giant dumb goblins. Reason
Yep.
number two, they're literally yellow Shadow the Hedgehog fucking Sonic the Hedgehog in Sonic Unleashed, where he has like the long floppy arms and it's fucking stupid. And
Connor,
and
that's not
reason
yellow.
three,
Oh,
no,
you're
no,
saying that
it's a
they are
yellow
yellow version
version.
of it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like
They're
if you took
yellow
that and, like,
version of the
painted it yellow.
Werehog. Right.
Yeah. And then reason three, it's like, did we really need this to be a playable race?
I mean, they have
Like-
Goblin and
Yeah.
Hobgoblin, so why not the other goblins everybody doesn't care about?
Like, I feel like they just needed to fill space in, what was this, like VGM?
I believe this is Volos. Yeah, Volos, and it comes back in
Yeah.
Eberron.
Yeah, it feels like they just needed to like fill space in some source books because they had to make some more scratch, and they were like, fuck it, what races do we have? Well, we've got bugbears, I guess. And they were like, get on it, Jeremy. And then Jeremy made some shitty bugbears.
Yeah, I like the reach, but everything else is just kind of like, this is a very specific niche that you're never going to use except for like 5 times. So I feel like I want to put them in D tier.
Yeah, I
I'd
can
be
agree with
good
that.
Yeah, D just makes sense for these boys. I played a Bugbear Ranger for your one shot, Connor.
Yeah, you did.
And man, was that something.
That was a character.
It's the reason why your city was overrun with bugbears at the end because I'm just like, fuck it. The whole
And
joke for my
everyone hated
character
them.
is that bugbears just fuck.
Yep.
Right.
It was a whole thing.
Next up, we have, whoops, I accidentally put Bullywug in here, even though it's not supposed to be a race. I didn't,
Oh,
I didn't read
no.
it far enough. Up next is Centaur, from more Mythic Odysseys of Theros and Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, but I say fuck Ravnica because
I would say that
fuck
this
Matt
is
Mercer.
a more interesting race than the other ones that we did, just pure like background stuff, or at least the version that I read.
Yeah, so they are neutral. They're
Oh.
large creatures, I believe. Nope, they're medium creatures. They're just weird. They are fey rather than humanoid, so a lot of spells like Hold Person doesn't affect you. Um, if you move
Okay.
within 30 feet straight towards the target and hit it with a melee attack, you can follow an attack with a bonus action, making it another attack with your hooves. And hooves are just 1d4 plus strength. And you also have the one size larger, one carrying capacity, and push and drag. And any climb that requires hands and feet is difficult because of your legs. So you just,
That's cool. I
yeah.
like that. That's funny.
Each foot of movement costs you an extra 4 feet instead of the normal extra 1 foot. So you're just
That's
slow as
awesome.
hell. You're also
That's
proficient in
great.
one of the skills you choose, being animal handling, medicine, nature, or survival, and you get Sylvan as a language right off the bat, which is pretty neat. 2 strength, 1 whiz.
I mean, to me, just mechanically, they seem like the racial embodiment of 5e bloat, where they're just like, yeah, here's all this shit you can do. They are cool though. I
Yeah.
will give them that they're cool. I like that they're slow climbing. I think that's fucking funny.
I like the
Um,
idea of making a centaur fighter, or not a centaur fighter, but like a centaur paladin, and then a human warrior with the mount thing, and then your mount is the centaur in the party. So you just do
Yeah, I
crazy amounts
think
of damage running around.
yeah, I think I'd be willing to put them in like either B or A, despite the fact that I think that they're really bloated in terms of like, yeah, you can charge and you can do like hooves attacks and da da da.
I
Just
feel
because I
like
think that they've got some nice flavor to them.
Yeah, I feel like Mott does a lot of that because the Minotaur has like the same like gouging thing, I think, where you can like if you run in a straight line, you can do extra damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think A tier is probably good for centaurs unless you guys want to do top of B.
I think A or B is good. I do like. Is Minotaur a playable race according to this website? Or...
Yeah, they came out in Mystic Odysseys of Theos.
Theros.
I
Theros,
would put
sorry.
Because
Minotaurs above Centaurs.
We can
gotta
get to
milk
that when I
that
get to the
sweet,
M's.
sweet.
Alright.
Because wizards gotta milk that sweet, sweet Magic the Gathering stone until it is fucking wrenched of all blood.
Yeah. Anyway, now we have Changeling. Everybody loves changelings. Plus
Fuck
2
changeling.
charisma, plus 1 anything else.
Dude,
They're what's up?
like I wish that they would have something like more like conditional upon their changes though.
Yes.
On their
Yeah, they're
abilities.
like fuck it.
Like,
You
in
can turn
lore,
into
they would have to,
something.
like, steal a child, and then they would be able to like be that person. So if they were able to like kidnap and hold people, like that'd be an interesting mechanic. But
That would never show up in any campaign ever because kidnapping children and then being able to be exclusively babies until they grow up is a very difficult thing to do.
but they also live for a long time because they're fae.
Well, yeah. Well, are they Fae?
They're not Fae in
No,
5e.
they're not Fae
baby.
in 5e.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, just F5E. I'm
All my homies hate 5e. But yeah.
I'm sorry, Alex. I love you. I can't.
Oh no, I don't love
Dude,
5e.
Alex has been falling off the 5e train for a while.
I do 5e because it's the most like easy to get into. Because
Yeah.
it is. You know, 5e is
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
super
True.
easy
Yep.
and player friendly, and there's only certain things that are like stupid as hell. Which a lot of it comes down to like just the fact that it's 5e. That's their whole thing. And like as much as I enjoy it, I've been really getting into other classifications of TTRPGs.
Yeah.
But anyway, changelings can change themselves. They get 2 proficiencies with skills, and they can get 2 languages other than common as well. Hey, I have a character who's a changeling.
I also have a character who's a changeling.
Who I have not used yet because they're for an upcoming campaign, and it's like, wow,
Oh snap!
there's like two reasons to pick changeling, and if you're like a shitty evil person who just goes around pretending to be other people. My girlfriend played a character like that. I very much did not like that. Or I love Rain, but she's like, I'm gonna make a character whose entire thing is that I pretend to be other people, no matter what.
Oh, I know. I was there.
Mhm.
I ran that shit.
No, this is for a online
Was it
campaign.
a different changeling?
This was she brought in the same changeling from that campaign, but we got farther in that campaign than the one time she was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of do blur together. Anyway, I
Yeah.
think changelings are
Straight broken.
yeah, they are straight broken. If
Mhm.
shape change had more like
If it
conditions
had
around them,
any conditions really that weren't like, like it has to be a humanoid and it can't be taller or smaller than a foot taller or smaller than you. I'm like, that is barely a condition, guys.
no. What if you make it
Yeah,
so you
'cause,
have
like-
to you have to be in the same room with this creature for at least an hour for you to be able to shape change into them, and
Yeah, I mean,
the
I have
longer you
a
stay in shape change, the less effective your disguise is.
I have a changeling in one of my games, and the only reason that she's not insanely broken is because I deliberately chose to make it so that she never changes unless she absolutely has to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like she always just looks like a normal human unless she absolutely has to change.
Does anyone
Um,
even know that you're a changeling in character?
No, I don't think so.
You're indistinguishable from a human until you shape change. And even then,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to just be like, well, I just know I'm a warlock with a patron that lets me change, because that's literally a
Or you're
warlock
just
thing.
like, I know the fucking what's the
The spell shape, change shape.
Or like polymorph. You're like, I know polymorph. Done.
Yeah. I just
get shape
polymorphed
change.
myself. Yeah, it only works for an hour though. Ooh. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
very hard to like know somebody's a changeling, which is why
Yeah.
like metagaming is a big thing for a lot of people because they're just like everybody's like I want to know that you're a changeling in game, but everybody's like, well, I don't want you to know because that changes your perception of me and roleplay. Anyway, Dragonborn.
Dragonborns are great. I love them.
Yep.
Yep.
They
Enjoyable race.
get breath weapons depending on what color Dragonborn they choose to be. They have resistance to damage associated with your ancestry, including acid, fire, lightning, poison, and cold. They speak Draconic, and they are pretty damn cool. I love me a Dragonborn.
I'd give
Yep.
him a solid A.
Yeah,
I'd give them a solid A.
I think
I
they're
might even put them in S because I really like them.
I think they're probably better than centaurs.
Yeah, I think they're
Oh,
better than
yeah.
centaurs. They're just neat and they've got some good flavor to them and they're not overly complicated and they're good. And I
Yeah,
like
they're
them.
just like, hey, look, I have a breath weapon now, but
Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
And they're not like insanely overpowered. They're
another
good.
race I just think are neat, the dwarves.
Dwarves are cool. I should play more dwarves and I never do and I don't
Yeah.
know why.
2 con with the option of strength, whiz, int, or more strength, I guess. Dwarger get +1 strength, mountain dwarfs get +2 strength. Doesn't matter. They're lawful. Their speed is not reduced by wearing heavy armor. They have dark vision. They have advantage against poison and poison damage and resistance against poison damage. They get proficiencies with battle axes, hand axes, light hammers, and war hammers, and also proficiency with an artisan artisan tool of your choice. They make intelligence history checks against stonework at advantage and are proficient in history. And they can read, speak, and write Common and Dwarvish.
I think that looking at that, they have way too many goddamn
Yeah.
racial
Yeah.
stuff. But I like dwarves, just like because dwarves are cool. So I'd definitely be willing to stick them in like B.
Yeah, I think
I
dwarves
put him
are.
above the Asmar.
I agree. I think dwarves are funny, and I think they make great characters.
Yeah, I've never had a dwarf, including Cliff, who was not great, that I didn't at least like a little bit.
I'm glad you like Cliff because I didn't. I'm much more enjoying Eric now.
Who's also a dwarf, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
he's a dwarger,
Yeah,
but it's like the same
which
thing.
is a flavor of dwarf. Yeah.
Anyway, here's fucking 80 different subraces for one class. It's the elves.
Yeah,
Look at this Legolas looking motherfucker.
the edgy boys.
You get +2 dex and +1 and basically whatever else the fuck you want because there's a subrace for everybody.
God, there's
They
so
live
many fucking
forever.
sub-races.
They can be whatever alignment they want. They have dark vision. They have advantage in perception. They're Fey, or they have Fey ancestry, so you have advantage on saving those against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. You don't sleep. Instead, you meditate for 4 hours a day. You can read, write, and speak Common and Elvish. And most other races give you free cantrips or spells to work with out of the bag.
Yeah, their sub races. Some of their sub races are straight broken. Some of them are cool. Most elves are annoying, and I would put them in C or D.
I would agree with that. I think that they're overused, and then they just kind of make them very mushy characters. Or
Yeah,
not characters, but a race in D&D.
Understandable. I think the only thing that puts him super high on a lot of people's list is trance.
I hate
I think the only
trance.
thing that puts them high on people's list is like the people that were simping for Legolas.
Yeah, probably. I think
Yeah.
C. I think they're better than bugbears if I'm being 100% honest.
Yeah, I think they're better than bugbears.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you hate trance,
Yeah, they're
Connor?
just like I as a DM, I hate trance because like the more things that players are like, oh, I have this special thing, and like it's just that one player, and it doesn't come up very often, so you constantly forget about it. And every single time you take a fucking long rest, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go into a trance. I can do that. I trance. I don't have to sleep. And you're like, fuck. Now I have to fucking deal with your trance,
Well, I
which
mean,
like half the time doesn't even matter, and the other half of the time is extremely annoying.
trance
And I'm
is
just
just like a 4-hour sleep where you meditate instead of sleeping. And a lot of
Yeah, but
times
you're
DMs
half
are like, fuck
conscious,
it.
and so that's
Yeah, but you're aware of your surroundings, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
it
It
kind
is.
of ruins a lot of surprise stuff.
It probably
Yeah.
isn't
For
a good
DMs.
idea to have DMs here to be like, yeah, these races are fun and we're just like, we fucking hate this race because of what they can do in a
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah, every player is like,
Uh.
elves are great. I like playing elves. They're fun. And I'm just like, fuck elves. Everything about them sucks.
All right, well, we have an instant F tier here. It's the Furbolg.
I'll be honest.
Just
I
kidding.
know jack shit about furbolgs, and I just don't like them because of how they look.
Let me tell you,
I mean,
they're
I
+2.
only like them because they're just forest children,
Yeah.
and that is it.
They're introduced in
They're just
Volos.
fluffy
They're
boys.
+2 wisdom, +1 strength. They are typically neutral good. They are tall and heavy, but they're medium. They can cast detect magic and disguise self. As a
They can
bonus
turn
action,
invisible
they
on
can
the
turn
short rest.
invisible until the start of your next turn or until you attack. You
Oh.
count as one size larger when carrying stuff. You have the ability to communicate with a limited manner of beasts and plants. And you can read, speak, write Common, Elvish, and Giant.
I mean, hilariously, I kind of want to put them in broken because they can turn invisible in a short rest. They're just so whatever to me. Like they don't even cross my mind most of the time.
Yeah, they're not really like characters you think of a lot until like recently, when like a Critical Role character played a Furbolg and everybody went fucking crazy for him.
Of course they did.
Yeah. Also, a lot of people draw Furbolgs as like cow and like cattle-ish now
That's
because
cool.
of the stuff that the Critical Role player made for their own character,
What, then just
which
make us.
is neat.
Sorry.
I think that's neat.
I was just gonna say, just play a Minotaur.
Well, I think at that point, Theos hadn't come out yet, so Minotaurs weren't canon or like official. But I think Furbolgs are like C tier.
Yeah, I'd put
Yeah,
them.
they're not top, but like they can be fun and quirky. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I've never played one, and I've never had someone play one. I know Becca, you want to play one, and so I'm curious.
yeah.
Um,
I'll be honest. I was very bored of playing silent half orcs, and I wanted a character, and I was very bored with all the other races. I'm like, what's an interesting like naturey thing? And I
yeah,
just googled, uh, different kinds of druids, and they came up like, oh, that's kind of cool.
yeah, sure. I mean, like, if you're
That's
bored, fucking change it, man.
Yeah, part of
Like,
the fun of playing D&D is that there's so many goddamn races to pick from. You can basically play whoever you want to.
yeah,
But the only thing with D&D is that like all the races are just flavored other races, you know?
yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
all
that's
the
the thing
races
with
are just kind of.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
like when you get down to like D&D, all of it's just like here's a bonus, here's a subtraction, sometimes you have dark vision, fuck off.
Yeah,
Yep.
which I mean is fine. I think that's a decent way to make races. I mean, sure, they could be more creative sometimes in terms of like the
Not being able
specific
to
flavor of
climb
the
walls.
mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Um,
think that would like it. Part of it depends on the DM and the campaign. Like you said, 5e is supposed to be the one that's easy to get into.
yeah. But I mean,
So
like, shit, like if I like, when I make races for this dumb system that I have, um, like it's gonna be like, you get a plus to a thing, you get a minus to a thing, you get a good like little ability that might be like dark vision or something, and then you get like a negative ability, like the climb walls thing or whatever,
Yeah.
for centaurs, and it's like bam, that's your race. Because like the thing is like mechanically, I think that making races really different mechanically a lot of the time is kind of um
Difficult.
annoying. Yeah, and it's like it kind of makes it so it's like, well, why would you not play a race that isn't specifically tailored to min max to the build that you want to do, regardless of what kind of character you want to have? Um, and so like I'm fine with like minor adjustments being the race thing. Just because like it doesn't encourage like, well, I mean, if I'm gonna be an assassin rogue, then I have to be a halfling because they get the bonuses to the things that I care about and the minuses to the things that I don't. It's just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
I feel like D&D is very easy to min-max
Oh
because
yeah,
of just like, hey, here's what I want to do, and it's just like, okay, here's how you can do it, and it's like, here's 2 classes and 6 races. Pick from them, and that's the only way you're gonna be viable.
yeah.
Anyway, Genasi. We have
Uh,
a Genasi. Look at her. Ooh, she cool. There's one for every type of land or element. I mean, it's a con, and then a +2 con and +1 in either Dex, Strength, Int, or Wisdom. Um, they are neutral. They speak Primordial, and each one of them gets a special spell based on their element. When I was playing my Earth Genasi, uh, he had the ability to use Pass Without Trace.
yeah. The thing about Genasi is I think potentially they're very cool. And in practice, like they just rub me the wrong way, and I really don't know why. I think like they feel like very um like flashy to me, where it's like, ooh, I'm a Genasi and that's my whole character because I couldn't be bothered to come up with one. Um and like they just kind of coast on like the fact that they're like elementally. Um and at the same time, like what'll happen is either that happens where like their entire character is that they're an elemental or whatever. Um and then on the other side, it's like they're an elemental and that has nothing to do with their character and nobody cares about it. And it's like I feel like it
It's
would affect things a bit.
like
But a lot of
Zach's character in my campaign was a Genasi,
yeah.
but
Yeah, and I forgot a
I
hundred
I
times.
like the whole time I'm like, you're playing a human, right? He's like, no, I'm a special Genasi. You let me be, and like a mixture of an air and a earth Genasi that we called a dust Genasi. I'm like, god damn it, I keep forgetting you're one because there's
Yeah.
no reason for you to be a Genasi.
Yeah, and I'm
Mhm.
like I like part of me is like, yes, they should be like interesting just for being a Genasi, but like I also think that like what you are shouldn't be who your character is, right? Because like sometimes they're like, I'm a water genasi, so all my stuff is water based, and it's like, dude, look, I get it. It's like just
So when I played a
um,
Genasi, I made a Warlock.
yeah.
I did the UA, soon to be Tasha's Genie Warlock, and I made it so that my father was an elemental genie who gave me
Oh,
my
I remember
powers.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their name was Thermo. And I dug in my heels of the whole I'm an outsider from the Earth planes whose father is a genie, and all I know is eat rocks and be Genasi. So I just went straight, I'm an outsider. I'm just gonna talk about rocks and be an earth guy, and because I'm a warlock patron, my Eldritch Blast is like a spear of rock that erupts from me, and I can see how that could be kind of annoying.
Yeah, it gets a little grating after like 4 sessions of the same shit, and you're just like, oh my god, just
Especially when
have
you have
something
3
else.
characters that are the same thing
Yeah.
in the same campaign.
Yeah. Anyway, Genasi gets C tier.
Yeah, Genasi is like the biggest well of untapped potential in my
Yeah.
opinion. Where
C
it's like
tier
they
isn't
should be so
bad,
cool.
but C tier
Yeah,
is like stuff races I'm disappointed in. D and F are
yeah,
bad, and
yeah,
broken is either stuff that's not useful at all or like
or way
so
too good.
fucking overpowered. Actually, I feel like broken is only overpowered stuff because F tier is stuff that's like has no use.
Yeah, F is just
Which
like
I think we're getting up to one which has no use right now, and that is the Gith.
the Gith. Oh my god, they have
What?
nothing. They're just humans that
Well, it's
suck.
because they're the Githzerai
Oh,
and the
okay.
Githyanki are the two different sub races of them, and I didn't care enough to put one in for them, even though this is the one of the fewer. It's like I can probably add in different ones. Githyanki are like
Yeah.
space pirates, and
Yep.
Githzerai are just like psychics.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So their race is a class? What?
Uh, no, it's
They're so
just the
the way that it
Githyanki get abilities with like swords and proficiency with like attacking stuff, and the Githzerai get like mage hand and can cast shield, and they have advantage against being charmed, and that's why I'm like in like the lore of it, they're just space pirates and like psychics.
Yeah, so basically mechanically they're completely different. The two races are completely different. But in like the lore and in like the world building, um, they're basically like two different sects of the same race, which is the Gith. Um, and they
They
have like two different sects that like split off into essentially different races. Why they didn't make them sub races, fuck if I know,
Yeah,
but they decided not
that's
to.
why I'm like fuck it, Gith. They also escaped slavery from the Mind Flayers, so good for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think they're F tier.
Yeah, I agree. Get this fucking outer space bullshit.
Yeah, so these guys are from the not the outer planes. What is it? The astral plane. They just vibe in the astral plane, and they just do stuff sometimes, and they're stupid and useless, and they're only good as NPCs, in my opinion.
Fantastic. They should stay there.
Yeah, stay in the fucking outer, stay in the astral plane, dog.
Yeah, I just like the thing is I'm totally down with wacky outer space
Bullshit.
shenaniganery. Like
Yeah.
I like DCC. DCC has lots of shit like that. Um, but like when like it's like a core thing where it's just like, oh yeah, we have space aliens, by the way. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? Like
There's some
I feel
races that people are like, I do not, I like a lot of DMs are like, I won't let you play this race because it doesn't make any sense in my campaign. And I think the
yeah.
Gith are the one of the easiest ones to be like, you cannot play here with that character because there's no fucking reason for the Gith to be on Earth.
Yeah, like Gith and Mind Flayers and all of the like literal fucking little green men from outer space. Um, I'm just like, have them, that's fine, but don't make them like a mainstay in the thing that they're from fucking outer space. Like they have fucking astral dreadnoughts. That's great. Have them. I love them. Don't make them like dudes that walk around. Like it takes all the mystique out of it. It's so lame.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways, speaking about dudes who walk around, we got the Gnoll. The Gnolls have a plus. Oh wait, I thought the Gnolls were a playable race. Why are they only in the DMG? I could have sworn the Gnoll were a playable race. Now I'm upset.
I know
God damn
that
it.
many people have played them, and I have played them, but we've
Yeah,
always just
this
thought
race
of
is
them
listed
to
in
be.
DMG as an option for NPCs and not used for a playable race. I could have sworn Gnolls were a playable race, and I have it set for all official
Playable
stuff.
races.
So,
Yeah.
all right, on to Gnome.
Guess not. Gnomes. I love gnomes.
Gnomes are funny. Look at this guy.
They're
I
just
Ooh, he's got a
better
potion.
halflings.
Yeah, they are
More
better
interesting
halflings.
halflings.
Yeah, I'm sure they
They're
don't need any
halfling and
Whatever
dark
introduction.
vision.
halflings are, put them above them.
I'm sure they need no introduction, but you get +2 int, and probably another +1 depending on what sub race you want to be. They are mostly lawful, and they get dark vision and have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws against magic. And they get common and gnomish.
I think gnomes are great, and the people who play gnomes are annoying. And that's why people don't like gnomes.
Mhm.
I like them. I know that if anyone ever watches this, they like D&D, they'll probably want to deck me in the face. Because I like gnomes and I don't like elves. But I'd put them in like
I think A
B or
tier.
A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think they're better than centaurs.
Yep.
I don't want to put them above dragonborns though.
No.
Yeah, they're
Skip
definitely not better than
Squirtle.
Dragonborns.
No.
Dragonborns are rad.
Dragonborns are sick, and I'd be wanting to
Dragonborns.
put them in S tier if it wasn't for the fact that
If
I'm
we,
just a furry, and that's the reason why I want to do it.
I mean,
Dragonborns
if we
are
don't
the
have
best thing
anything
that
in S
4E
tier
ever
by
did.
the end of this, I would be totally fine putting them in S tier.
Right. What is this? GGR, Ravnica, and then that's Eberron, and then that's the DMG, but DMG is just right. Goblins. Oh, we've got Volo. Never mind.
Gobos.
Yeah, I don't like Eberron.
Gobos.
I don't like Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, but I can do Volos. I'm fine with Volos.
I could fucking kiss you over not liking all the Magic the Gathering shit. That is so wonderful.
Well, Ravnica is magic, right?
Yep.
And so is Eberron. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't
And
like
so is
like
Theros.
it. I
Yeah,
only
it's
like
just
Theros
like
because it adds beast characters for me to play as, but even then, it's like, why would I play as a Minotaur?
yeah, I don't like it just feels so like slimy to me, the crossover between the two of them, where I'm just like, really, guys? Like, you guys needed source books so bad that you just started to cannibalize your other properties. Like,
There's
come on,
one
man.
good thing to come out of Eberron, right?
Okay.
And that's the Warforged.
Didn't the
'Cause-
Artificer come out of Eberron as well?
yeah, but fuck the Artificer.
Artificer's potentially cool.
But the Artificer also got put back into Tasha's, so it's not exclusive to Eberron. But
Oh.
Warforged is still exclusive to Eberron.
Yeah, and Warforged was another. I think that was another 4E thing, just like Dragonborns, which
Yeah.
were like 4E really knocked it out of the park on the race front, and just stumbled and died everywhere else.
Yeah. Anyway, goblins are neutral evil. They get dark vision. When you damage a creature with an attack or spell and the creature's size is larger than yours, you can cause the attack or spell to do extra damage. Damage is equal to your level. Once you use this trait, you can use it until a short or long rest, and you can take the disengage or hide action as a bonus action on each of your turns. You speak common and goblin. These guys seem like a pretty easy S tier or broken tier.
Yeah,
See, I
they
would just
seem
say that
real
people
good.
only play them as like evil gnomes. That's the
I've
only way I've seen people play them.
I've had a few people who play them as like artificers.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
like crazy like mad scientist characters, because I feel like goblins really are like, when people think of playing a goblin, they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna play as this tiny little creature who just makes big explosives, and that's my deal.
Yeah.
But I think S tier makes the most sense for this Gorblin here.
I like goblins. Fuck it. I've never played a goblin. I've never seen a goblin played. I like goblins in theory. I think that those fucking abilities that they have are fucking insane, especially for like being a rogue. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, I
Um,
will say there is another race that I think we're either gonna put in S or broken tier that I love playing, but the abilities just make it super powerful. Which is why I'm like, I think Goblin's like the more playable version of the other race.
yeah, and I like goblins because they're just like nice and flavorful, and they're like little dumb monsters,
They're
and
just
they're
dudes.
adorable,
Yeah, they're
and
funny.
they're great.
Yeah, and you can say they're racist, but you shouldn't. All right, Goliath.
Goliaths are
They're
cool. I
funny.
don't
Plus
know
two
anything
strength,
about
plus
them.
one con. They are lawful. They have proficiency in athletics. You can shrug off injury when you take damage. Use your action to roll a d12, have in your card, and reduce the damage by that total. You get this once for long rest or short rest.
Fine.
You're resistant to cold damage. That's
Fine.
you're one size larger when determining your carrying capacity, and you can read and write common and giant. Yeah,
I
these
mean,
guys are a good B to C tier character.
yeah, I think they're B. I think they're fine. I think that they're kind of like dwarves where like they're just like a nice foundation for like a character. Um like they don't have a lot that's like, "Oh man, this makes me super cool and special." It's like, "Nah, dude, they're big dudes from the mountains. That's their thing."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're better than Erica or
Azamar?
Azimar. Thank you, but I think they're not as good as
Yeah, sure.
dwarves.
Sure, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't like Azimar very much. Anyway, on to some fan favorites. We got the half elf.
Half elf. Half elf is straight broken, and anyone who denies it is lying to themselves.
Why do you say they're straight broken?
They are definitively. I think it was like proven somewhere. It was probably in like some stupid Reddit thread, but it was essentially proven that like half elves are basically the best race for every class. Like there is no reason that you shouldn't play a half elf if you're gonna play D&D and you're min
Oh
maxing.
yeah, plus two
Um,
Yep.
charisma, plus one to any other unique stats,
to any
and
two unique stats,
yeah, and then they
which is
get dark vision.
insane.
They have the same fate ancestry as normal elves. They get two proficiency in two skills.
They're
They
so
can read,
ridiculous.
speak Common, Elvish, and one language of your choice. And
Half
that's not
elves
even including
are
the variants from like Skag. Fuck
yeah.
Skag though.
Half elves are the only broken race that like I would consider putting in S tier. Just because like yeah they're broken. Yeah, it's not even like a contest. It's not even a question. But like they're kind of cool.
I will say their mechanics aren't broken like with Aarakocra and Changeling, which is why I'm willing
Yeah,
to put them in S tier. They're just
they just get
strong
so
off the
many
start.
fucking pluses.
Yeah, they get a lot of
Yep.
bonuses. Which
Yeah,
is like
they're
I'm fine with putting them in S tier above Goblin, but if we think they really are broken enough to be put into broken, I understand.
I think I'd put them in S tier. They are definitely broken. I mean, like, just because, like, the thing is people they look at them and they're like, well, what do you mean that half elves are broken? I'm like, the thing about a half elf is if you have two brain cells to rub together, your character literally won't be bad at anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, just off of the basis of that, they're pretty broken.
Right. All right, on to another half character. We have the half orc.
Half orcs are cool.
Half orcs are funny.
I would put them at like the same. They're good base, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd put them in B tier. B
Yeah.
tier for base, for good base.
Based. Yeah, they're chaotic. They're a little bit larger than humans. They get dark vision. They have advantage in intimidation. When they're released at 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 HP instead. When you store a crit with a melee, you can roll a weapon die again, so you get 3 dies on melee for one of your crits. And you can read, speak, and write Common and Orc. I think just for the fact that they stay up in a fight and can do extra damage on crits, I want to put him top of B.
Sure. I like
Mhm.
them. I think they're a good like fundamental, just kind of like way to build an actual character instead of just like have a race and that's your character.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with them. You can make them just like a generic warrior race. You can make or like a generic warrior character. You can make them fucking like kind of like an outsider intellectual. Um, you can do a lot of things with them. I think they're cool. I don't think their mechanics are particularly broken. Um, they're
No, like
nice.
coming back with 1 HP isn't like a broken thing. It's just a way for you to get away with being a little bit more dangerous with your character.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm fine with that. And I mean, it's so hard to die in 5e anyway that it's barely a mechanic that you have to worry about, so I'm
Yeah,
fine with it.
unless you're fighting a tentacle squid like flesh puppet, in which case
Yeah.
you're going down in 2 hits. But that's neither here nor there. Halfling.
Halflings, they're
Halflings
C
are
tier.
straight bad. +2 dex, +1 in either wisdom, con, or in nope, or charisma, depending on your subclass.
Yep.
Um, they're
Which you
good.
should put in the
They're
charisma or
small.
wisdom.
When you roll one on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can re-roll it. You have
The
advantage against
only
being
saving
frightened.
grace.
You can move through the space of a creature that's a size larger than yours. And you
Pointless.
can speak, read, or write common and halfling. I
Yeah.
think C tier is not bad for halflings.
Yeah, C tier like halflings to me are basically they were like, all right, we're gonna make this race. It's gonna be rad. They're gonna be good rogues. And then they were like, wait, we already made gnomes. Oh fuck. We'll just make them less good versions of that and give them the lucky thing, and maybe people will think that they're good.
Well, no,
And apparently,
they saw Lord of the Rings once, and they're like Bilbo Baggins in my game.
and
Well, I
pretty
gotta have him.
much like I just like halflings in 5e are just so like meh overall. Um, and like
Yeah,
a
they're
lot of
not like
people.
DCC.
Yeah, like a lot of people are really convinced that halflings are great because they have lucky. And I'm like, lucky is real good until you roll a two.
Yeah. Or you roll 2 1s in a row.
Yeah, and then it don't matter very much, my man.
Yeah,
Um,
like not being able to like crit fail like as often as everybody else is like the only saving thing about that is like DMs who are just rude and are like you crit fail, you lose your weapon and now you're disarmed. And it's like, wow, thanks.
yeah, if you're doing like hardcore like first second edition fumble rules, like
Yeah.
you're gonna have a bad time with crit fails, but it's like most DMs, especially in 5e, with how like lenient most DMs are, it's like, oh, you rolled a one, you miss, and like I don't know, you look like an idiot. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
I think the most you should be punished for crit failing is maybe like prone, but even then it's like you rolled a dice, why should you be punished for that? I think it's fun
Yeah,
making the enemies when they roll crit fails doing stupid shit and hurting themselves and being disarmed because that changes the way the battle is done. But it's not fair to like throw like, hey, you went prone because you failed and tripped when you were attacking somebody. Now everybody has advantage against you.
yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to like weird shit, like dropping weapons and falling over, and getting weapons caught in things and whatever on fumbles. But like the way that most people actually run fifth edition and the way that fifth edition is written, um, doesn't like do that very much. Doesn't really encourage that, and so like most of the time, crit fails in combat don't mean much. Outside of combat, they sometimes do. Like if you're trying to like jump a fucking 20-foot cavern and you need it to succeed and you roll a crit fail and you just fall and instantly die, like that's one thing. But I feel like if you're gonna try and jump a 20-foot gap, that if you fail, you die, and you don't have any precautions for when you miss, you kind of deserve it if you fail. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of a whatever ability.
Well,
And like they don't even have fucking dark vision. Like what the fuck?
yeah, that is kind of annoying. Well, anyway, speaking of whatever, we have hobgoblins.
I didn't even know these were a thing.
Hobgoblins introduced in Volos. They are a lawful evil with dark vision. They get proficiency with 2 martial weapons of your choice. Uh, if you miss an
Every
attack roll or
time,
fail an ability check or saving throw, you can gain a bonus to the roll equal to a number of allies you see within 30 feet of you. And they read common and goblin.
every time I see an alignment thing and they're like any version of evil, I just roll my eyes because I'm like, really, guys?
Yeah. They do get pluses to int for some reason. It's
That's
plus two.
interesting.
It's plus 2 con plus 1 int.
I'd put them in D because they're another goblin thing, and I don't care about them. D is for don't care.
Yeah. Like that saving face thing, even then, isn't very useful. It's like how many allies are within 30 feet of you? 2. Add a 2 to that roll. Okay, my 3 turned into a 5. Did that change anything?
Yeah.
No. Right. All right. On to what might be the most overrated race. We have humans.
I like humans. Put them in C. Actually, humans are fine. I'd put them in B. They're a nice base.
You get a
They get
+1 to
pluses to
everything.
things. Yeah.
And variant human, you get to have a fucking free
A feat.
feat.
Yeah, which is
And
really good.
that's real good.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be. Don't think I've been in a campaign where somebody has played a human for more than one session.
You have because Zusef is a human.
Oh. Okay, so never mind.
Right.
Ignore what I just said.
I think they're better than Azamar.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they're better than Azamar.
Do we think they're better than Goliath?
I think they're better than Goliaths. I don't think they're better than dwarves.
Right. Yeah, I think
Um,
humans are subpar dwarves. And like the reason you pick up a human is either you want to be balanced out in your stats, which is boring, or you want that feat.
Yeah, or you just don't want to put a lot of like effort into having to be like something else. You're just like, I'm a fucking human. I have a character that isn't defined by like their race in any way. I'm just a
Oops.
guy. Don't worry about it. And I think that that's fine. I like
There
races
you go.
that have a lot of like open-endedness to like what they can be.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Speaking of things you have to like dig down and be, here's a Kenku. God, I
the
fucking
worst
hate
race.
Kenkus. F tier.
Yeah.
+2 Dex, +1 Wisdom. They are chaotic neutral. They can duplicate other creatures' handwriting and craft work. They are proficient in either acrobatics, deception, stealth, and sleight of hand. You can only mimic sounds you've heard, including voices, but you cannot speak for your own. And they can read and write Common and Orin. But you can only speak through mimicry.
I hate them.
I think they're straight up F tier.
I hate them because like
No
if
complaint.
you run them the way that like they're intended to be run, they're extremely frustrating and annoying. And if you don't run them the way that they're intended to be run, you might as well just play a fucking gnome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing I like about them is that they're bird races that don't have flight. So if they didn't have
Yeah.
fucking mimicry, it would be so much nicer to play a bird race that isn't suddenly like, you can't play that.
Yeah, if they didn't have mimicry, they'd probably be in like C tier.
Yeah. C
Because
or
they're,
B.
they're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Like
other than
their
that.
ability to like craft and like expertly forge and stuff like that makes them like very good rogues.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I mean overall, like they're just like bad gnomes, kind of like halflings.
Yeah.
But they have fucking mimicry, which makes them just like pain.
Anyway, here's a straight up broken character. I bring you the kobold.
Yeah, the most broken shit.
The only reason it's broken is because of pack tactics, but it's not
Yep.
broken because of sunlight sensitivity.
Which is a lie.
Yeah.
Anyone who tries to tell you that sunlight sensitivity makes kobolds not broken is lying to themselves, and they're
Yeah.
lying to you.
There's a reason I play kobolds, and it's because they're good. They also get grovel, cower, and beg, which makes it so that everybody attacks you, and your allies gain advantage of attack rolls against enemies
Jesus.
within 10 feet of you. And it's yeah.
It's so
Mm-mm.
As an action, you can cower pathetically to distract nearby foes. Until the end of your turn, your allies gain advantage on attack rolls against enemies within 10 feet of you that you can see. And you get advantage because of pack tactics, which is you get advantage on an attack roll against a creature, at least one of your allies within 5 feet of the creature, and the ally is incapacitated. Which works because it doesn't say you have to be there, so just make a fucking ranger or a rogue with a bow, and then
Yep.
fucking advantage. Because you have advantage,
Yep.
you literally get sneak attack every single
Every
turn.
time, baby.
Kobolds are straight broken.
Kobolds are unbelievably broken.
I say
They
that
are.
kobolds are the most broken of all of
Oh,
the races.
it's not even close. Like, broken. They're so insane. And okay, so if anybody does watch this and they're gonna try and bitch me out about my sunlight sensitivity thing, the reason that sunlight sensitivity doesn't actually matter all that much is because the vast majority of the time when you're fighting things, you are in a dungeon. You are inside and you are not in the fucking sunlight and you don't have to worry about it at all. There are definitely cases where like you will be fighting something in like an open field, um,
But
because
then
and and in those situations, like
you just attack normally because your pack
yeah,
tactics balances that shit out anyway.
yeah, you're just normal. Congratulations, you went from being the straight up best class in the game to as good as every other class in the game.
With the ability to give everybody around you within 10 feet advantage
Yeah,
on their next
advantage.
attack.
It's unfucking believable.
Yeah.
Like the
Uh,
fact that pack tactics isn't like a once per short rest kind of thing is just a fucking
it is.
amazing to me.
Oh no, not pack
Oh, it
tactics.
is?
No,
Yeah,
no, it
pack
isn't.
tactics. Yeah,
I thought you said Gravicow or Beg, and I'm like, yeah, that's a once per short rest. But yeah, pack tactics is just fuck it whenever,
yeah. They're just
as
like,
long
don't
as
worry
your
about it.
ally isn't incapacitated.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
Anyway, something a little bit more underwhelming, the Leonin from
Hmm.
Mythic Oddities of Theros.
Hmm.
They have dark vision, they have natural weapons, which makes them a d4 plus strength on unarmed. They have proficiency in athletics, intimidation, perception, or survival. And as a bonus action, you can let out a menacing roar. Creatures within 10 feet of you must succeed a wisdom saving throw or become frightened. You can speak, read, and write Common and Leonin. I think these guys are straight C tier.
Yeah,
Can you
they're
pull up
just
a
kind of.
picture?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
blow up that picture.
Brom. Look at the
He's a big old
boy.
lion boy.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
I think he's better than
I'm sorry. I've just
Furbolts.
watched so much Thundercats in the past like
Thundercats,
2 months. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just tired.
Yeah, I put him above
understandable.
Furbolg
Yeah, I think they're better than Furbolts, but not as good as Halflings, which is surprising because Halflings don't even have that much going for them.
because halflings aren't that good.
Halflings basically have nostalgia, and that's it.
Yeah,
I want to
halflings
play
are kind of
Frobo
like
Babbins.
elves,
All right.
where elves have their only real redeeming feature is that like people just love them so much from popular media.
Okay, I'm going to bring up the next character or race, and I want to tell you why I think they belong in at least A tier, and that is the Lizard
Okay,
Folk.
okay, hit me with it, Scaly Man.
They have a swim speed of 30. You can make
Okay,
bites as your natural weapon, and you can do a d6 plus strength for your unarmed strikes instead. You have Cunning Artisan, which makes it so that you can harvest bone and hide from beast, constructs, dragon, monstrosity, or plant creatures, and create a shield, a club, a javelin, darts, blowgun needles, uh, any of those. You can hold your breath for 15 minutes at a time. You get proficiency with 2 skills of here. You have natural armor, where if you aren't wearing armor, your AC is 13 plus Dex. And you have Hungry Jaws, which makes it so that if you use a bonus action to use your bite attack, you can gain temp HP equal to your con mod.
there's so much.
It's
I
a
would
It's like
almost
lot.
put
so
that in
much shit.
broken.
I don't think it's broken. I think it's A tier.
I don't think it's broken. I think it's just too much stuff. Like, there's so much. Um, I mean, I'm fine putting it in A because it's obviously really good.
I think the big things for me are bite, swim speed, natural armor, and hungry jaws, because that's really all I used when I used my character. Uh, because
But
like,
still, that's like as many fucking abilities as like a regular race has,
and then you also have
and you
cutting
have like
hardest in,
7
hold
more.
breaths.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
like
I think they're not as good as Dragonborn. I will give them that, and probably not even better than uh gnomes. But I think they're
gnomes.
better than centaurs in my book.
Yeah, I mean mechanically, they've got a lot. I think they've got too much, but I can understand it in terms of like just sheer power. Because I don't think anything in there, other than like maybe the unarmed thing, is particularly insane.
Yeah, because
Um,
like the whole thing is like here's unarmed damage, you do a d6 plus strength, and it's like that's the best unarmed anybody can do, and it's because you're biting somebody.
yeah, and like sure, whatever.
So like if you made a
um,
monk, you'd get like an instant d6 instead of d4 for your,
yeah,
unarmed. But
which
it's
is
like
pretty solid.
yeah, and like swim speed, nobody uses swim speed.
It's just it's a lot of utility stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there. I'm fine putting them in A just off of sheer mechanical usability.
Yeah.
Um,
I like lizard folk. I have one lizard folk character that I really enjoy to the bottom of my heart, and that's why I wanted to put them in A so badly. So goddamn badly.
purely just because you like the character.
Yeah. Anyway, I think this is also from Mott. No, it's from Ravnica. It's the Loxodon. You
Yeah.
guys like elephants? We put elephants in D&D.
I like elephants. I don't like these ones. I put them in fucking D tier because they're boring.
Yeah, so they have +2 con, +1 wisdom. They're lawful. They're one size bigger when carrying. They have advantage on saving throws and being charmed or frightened. They have thick skin, so your AC is 12 plus con. You have a trunk, so you can grab things and use it as a snorkel. I guess because they just put that in there. What the fuck? They have a reach of 5 feet and can lift 5 times your strength score. Your trunk can't wield weapons or shields or do anything that requires manual precision. You have keen sense, and you can speak and write common and Loxodon. These
I love how they
guys.
have like half the amount of abilities of lizard folk and the same amount of text. And I'm like, really?
Yeah. It's like,
The
well, we
one
need to
thing that
tell
doesn't
you
make sense to me would be like the lifting 5 times as much your strength
with
In
your trunk.
pounds.
Yeah.
in pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
So
basically
it,
like
never
a
mind.
worse mage hand.
yeah, it's like really short, not invisible mage hand.
Like, when are you gonna use that? Oh,
I'm
I
sorry,
have a
like I feel
Lox.
like D&D just needs to have like a race that's just like animal, anthropomorphic human, and then just have like a way of going about it through the already
Yeah,
existing animals, and you can like pick 2 traits from the
I
animal that you are.
I agree. And there's homebrews for animal races that are just like that, where it's just like you are an anthropomorphic animal. You pick what type of animal you are. You get bonuses based off of what you think your bonus should be. You get negatives based off what that negative should be, and then you can choose from like dark vision and a few other abilities. And it's like that's so much easier than just being like, here's a Loxodon, here's a lizard folk, here's a Kenku, here's a Tabaxi.
Oh, just wait, this is the lineup for the next 30 years. More
So
animals.
Loxodon, I think you said D tier.
Yeah, I put in D.
Do you think they're
Absolutely.
better than the Hobgoblins? Because I don't.
Nope. I almost would put them in F just because they're so boring, but
We
Yeah,
can just make F tier all the just animal races
but the
aside from
Gith
lizard
aren't an
folk.
animal, and they deserve to be an F tier.
Give should just not be acknowledged.
Anyway, speaking of just an animal, it's the Minotaur.
Alright,
there you go.
this
Go
is a
off, Becca.
monster. I would say that this has a far more interesting background than most other races.
Would you like to hear its abilities?
Sure.
+2 strength, +1 con. They are lawful. Their horns are natural melee, which makes it so you can do 1d6 damage plus strength. They have a Goring Rush, which means if you use the dash action on your turn, you can move at least 20 feet. You can make one melee attack with your horns as a bonus action. Immediately after you hit a creature with a melee attack as part of the attack action on your turn, you can use a bonus action to attempt to shove that creature, and you can move them with 10 feet away from you. They also have advantage, or they have proficiency in either intimidation or persuasion, and they can write common and
Honestly,
Minotaur, which I think Minotaur is a stupid language to have.
Hmm.
Also,
honestly, I
here's
think
the guy I chose for the thing.
there he is. Honestly, I think they're
Right.
extremely gimmicky, and I'd put them in C tier.
Becca, would you like to give us a reason why you think Minotaur should be higher than C tier?
They have a more interesting background than anything in C tier.
Right.
They have a more interesting background in real life, and their background in the game is not that.
True.
Yeah, the background in the game is, hey, we're in
Given
a
that
labyrinth.
everything in this game does not have an interesting background compared to its actual like
I
lore.
think Minotaurs deserve bottom of D tier or C tier. I think they're not even better than Genasi.
Yeah, they're
Oof.
just they're just
Oof.
gimmicky. Like in the game, they're gimmicky, right? Like in real life,
They're
Minotaurs are
funny.
rad.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. In the game, they're just bull people, just like how fucking Kenkus are raven people, and
True.
fucking
Centaurs are
Um,
centaur people.
I
and
yield
like
to that.
Loxodons are elephant people. Like yeah, you can say like that things don't have interesting and like obviously we put the one with the most fucking whacked out backstory, which is the fucking gift. We put that shit in F tier. But like half elves can be interesting because they generally don't really like have a place to call home because neither of their respective like clans like them very much. Goblins are fucking just goblins. You can do fucking anything you want with goblins. Dragonborns are cool because they're like these like weird like semi offspring kind of dragons. Gnomes are fine. Lizard people are fine. Centaurs are cool because they're centaurs. Um, stuff like that. And it just like Minotaur just seems really gimmicky in terms of the game.
Yeah, I don't. It's not that like think centaurs are bad. It's just compared to everything here, I think I'd not want to play centaur or like not a centaur, minotaur. Sorry. I think I got them confused because they both have tars in them, which is weird because I thought tar was like half. I guess that is half. Never mind. I'm stupid. Minotaurs. They are very low on the list of like races I'd want to play as a person, and I'm a furry. Like I'd rather play a dwarf over a minotaur.
Yeah, like it never comes to mind for me that that's a thing that I'd want to do. And like I feel like it's very easily one of those things that either you forget about it or it has to be your whole character for you not to forget about it.
Hey, look, I can make an extra attack whenever I dash. It seems like all I'm doing is dashing now.
Yeah, it's just like
It's
it's fine.
stereotypical bull stuff that doesn't work well as a character to play as because you're stuck either in a niche or you never use your race.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we make Becca mad,
I already
orcs.
said I yield like 5 minutes ago, dude.
Understandable, but Connor will continue to talk.
I always continue to talk.
Orcs are chaotic evil. Fuck you. They have dark vision.
Boring.
They, as a bonus action, you can move up to your movement speed towards a hostile creature you can see or hear. You must end this move closer to the enemy than you started. You have proficiency
You just
in
do
2 of your
that.
choice. You're
You can just fucking dash every
can
turn as long as you're trying to hit somebody. There
uh,
you go. Fuck it.
powerful
Why not?
build. Yeah, I mean that's really the
This
only.
is a powerful build.
No, I will say one thing. They're inherently worse than half orcs because they don't have the ability to come back to
From
1
the
HP.
dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like their whole thing is just like we're gonna come to you, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway,
I'd
here's
probably
the
put him
orc
in
I
fucking
chose.
C tier.
Isn't he fun? Look at his face. Look at him face. Yeah, I think I think orcs are C or D tier, and I want to put them in D tier, but I'd be called racist for doing that.
I don't mind D tier for them.
Yeah,
I don't mind D tier for him.
I think top of D
I'd put him at
tier.
the top of D tier, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're better than the Gerblins that we have in D tier.
I love how they can just fucking double their
Dash.
movement speed every fucking turn and still attack, because Fuck it.
because we're orcs. Yeah, that's the only part where it's like that's kind of nice. Except, how often are you going to be 120 feet from enemies at all
If they had
times?
any other good abilities, they would be straight broken.
Yeah.
But they don't, so they're D tier.
Speaking of characters with bad abilities, the satyrs.
Go off, Becca.
I mean, like they're fun if you want to just have a fun character, but they're just, they're
Yeah.
a character. They're a race.
+2 charisma, +2
It's the
dex.
I'm bored and I want to do something different that's not normal.
They're
+2
fey.
charisma, +2 dex is really good.
Yeah, they're fey. They make unarmed strikes with their head, so they do 1d4 plus strength. They have advantage on saving
I
throws
never
against
did
spells.
that.
Yeah.
Shoot.
They can when you make a long jump or high jump, you can roll a d8 and add that number to the feet you cover because even when you make a standing jump, you have a proficiency in performance and persuasion. And you can speak, read, and write Common and Sylvan. Which
So they're
weird. Nothing on here, Becca, says that you need to have a place to store your booze.
Nothing on there does say you have to have a place to store your booze, but it's fun if you do.
Yeah, I agree. But when I brought up why do you want that, you said it's in my background.
It said it's in my.
Oh,
Wait, no, no,
background.
no,
Sorry,
no,
not race. Sorry,
no.
I'm sleep. No.
So the thing with say it's not a place to store your booze. It is that they are able to. They're good at finding parties essentially.
You said you needed to have like a place where you can hide your liquor,
I
and I
was
was like,
just asking because I wanted him to be a selfish alcoholic. Okay.
okay, you made it sound like inherently as a race, satyrs need to hide their booze.
No. I'm sorry.
No worries.
all
Anyway,
satyrs are selfish alcoholics.
here's the
Now
picture.
that's some racism.
Here's the pretty boy satyr. Look at him.
Aw.
Anyway, I think
This would be something that Zach would like.
he's straight C tier.
I
Sure.
Well, actually,
agree.
I'd be willing to put him in B tier because since he's Fey and not humanoid, he can't be affected by a lot of the early level spells. So you got a leg up in that sense.
I'd put him in the bottom of B tier if you're gonna put him there.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I think he's either high C or low B, and I say that because magic resistance is good. Jumping
Magic
doesn't matter
resistance is
very
really
much, but
good.
having the option to do so.
Well, 2
Charisma and
dex and
dex
2
are.
charisma
Well,
is
it's
so
it's
good.
2 charisma, 1
It is
dex,
good.
but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Um,
still pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Like they're just really good bards. Like you fucking play a bard, you make a satyr, done.
Yeah, you're good.
That's what I did. Yep.
All right, on to Simic Hybrid. You guys like Ravnica? I don't.
Uh,
I had no idea what this thing is.
All right, you get
It's the
+2 con,
worst.
+2 any other one. You're neutral. You have dark vision. You have an enhancement, so you can choose enhancements for your character as you level up. So first level, you either get the ability to slow fall, the ability to climb equal to your walking speed, and the ability to breathe air and water, and have a swim speed. And at fifth level, you can have extra arms, a thick shell that gives you +1 AC, or acid spit. And man, do these guys suck ass! I'm putting them in F tier. Well, probably D
I hate
tier.
them.
I'm
It's,
thinking
dude,
bottom D.
I feel like this is just like somebody wanted to play a wizard from like have interesting things happen to their body and mutate from like DCC, but then
yeah.
Yeah, so the whole
Yeah,
thing is
Simic
because
hybrid.
it's a race made specifically for Ravnica, right?
Yeah.
And Magic's like, hey, we have this cool shit going on. Why don't you do that? And they're like, how do we make this into a race that doesn't take 6 years to read? Oh, I know. Make it so they have predetermined ones they can choose from, and it only takes 2 years to read it now instead.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
Simic hybrid is basically like, yo dog, I heard you like subclasses, so we put a subclass in your race so you can have 2 subclasses.
Yeah,
And you're just like,
basically.
fuck.
I don't want to be here anymore.
It's like, you know what I like doing in my 5e character sheet is writing down even more shit that I'm never gonna use that I can do.
Yeah, let me take 6 minutes while they're fighting a boss. Let me check and see if I can do my special thing here. Oh, it's already my turn, but I wanted to use a reaction that I couldn't find 6 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Right.
like people try and say that like 5e is like fast and efficient, and I'm like 5e is barely better than 4e at high levels. Like it is it runs at a glacial rate unless you have people who are mostly just like martial fighters and they just run in and smack things.
Yeah, which is why it's nice to be Eric now.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have Eric and Todd because they just like they shoot off a bunch of attacks and everybody knows what they're gonna do and it's no problem.
Hey, surprise, surprise! I'm gonna hit big monster.
Big monster.
So we have the Tabaxi. This character I don't think needs any introduction because they are just a cat. Anything they can do, a cat can do as well.
Anything they can do. Fucking. I want I want to redeem the Tabaxi because the Tabaxi get a really bad rap.
Why is this Tabaxi's fucking snoot so long? It looks like a
Oh yeah,
dog.
this art
It's
is rough.
crunchy.
Alright, so wait, question. Why was there a different race for like the lion people? Why can't there just be lion tabaxis?
Well, because
Because these are the house
Tabaxis came
cat people.
first. Tabaxis came first. Tabaxis were introduced in Volos.
And yeah, it's a different plane.
Yeah, and Theos, whatever,
Theros.
is from the Magic the Gathering world.
Very.
Yeah, you see how stupid D&D has become now that they have introduced so much Magic the Gathering shit.
It's garbage. I want. The truth is that Tabaxis are C tier,
Hmm.
and if I have to claw them by myself through a fucking 1,000 Adventurers League games, I will get them to B tier.
Connor,
What up?
you don't have to play any Adventurers League games because I'm fine with putting them in B tier, and I'm fine with putting them right in between Azamar and Goliath.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think they're better than Goliaths, but I think what they excel at, they do great, and what they fail at, they fail so hard. And what they fail at is being able to play anything other than a monk whose whole thing is they just go fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's the go fast monk, but like
Rogue.
also like a lot of the reason, yeah, rogues, a lot of the reasons that they get a bad rap is just because like the people who play them tend to go like super ooh woo heavy on the way that they play them, and
I
I'm just
made a
like,
cat boy, ooh woo.
yeah, and I'm just like, come on, guys, like there's so much more you could do with them. Like I see potential, and people are like, fuck it, all
Alright.
ooh woo all the time.
Alright, Connor, Becca, you ready to be hate crimed?
Hmm.
It's the Tiefling.
I love tieflings.
I also love Tieflings.
I love my
and
edgy
if,
boys.
and if we don't put them high, gay people are gonna start calling us racist. So
Why?
because Tiefling is the race you go to when you're gay and you play D&D. And you can tell because every single gay person that is in our group has played a Tiefling at least once.
Has it? Wait, Connor, have you played a tiefling?
Not in that group.
But
But you have.
Connor, are you
have
gay?
played a-
I'm
Yeah,
not gay.
I didn't think
you
so. I
have
was like,
played
where's the
a
relation to
correct?
this?
Oh, dude,
you
I
have-
played the fucking most flamboyant tiefling in the world, and
Oh wait,
Zach
yeah, no, we were
previously.
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like it's just it's a freaking
Tieflings are what you play when you're edgy and you don't think anyone understands you, and it's just the fact that most gay people are edgy and people actually don't understand them, and that's why they play tieflings.
Also, they have a feat
Mhm.
that gives them wings, so I think they're straight A tier.
I think
Yeah,
they're
they're
straight
good.
S tier. I think they're S tier because they're wonderful.
Understandable. I can agree with that. I think they're probably better than goblins.
Yeah,
Yep.
I put them better than goblins.
Yeah, I love me a tiefling.
Yeah. Big old fan of tieflings. They're
Also,
cool.
I like the discourse people get in where it's like tieflings don't have tails, and then all the official art with them have tails.
Yep.
It's like,
Wait,
okay.
that's a thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of
They
people on
literally
like,
have rules for tails.
yeah, do they have rules for tails?
I believe
Don't
so.
they?
No, not unless it's like a special. Nope, that's just Nope, that's just that. Oh,
I thought they
fuck.
did. Huh.
No, they don't
Oh,
have
there's
rules
like
for
a
tails.
billion sub races for them.
Yeah, we're getting through a few.
It's a problem.
To get to our next one, we'll probably. I don't want to use Theros, so we'll do the Triton next because that's what's next anyway. Hey, it's Fish Person.
I don't like them on principle because they look weird.
You can cast Fog Cloud. and at 3rd level you can cast Gust of Wind, and at 5th level you can cast Wall of Water. They have Dark Vision, and you can speak to aquatic beasts. You have Resistance to Cold.
Just like an aquatic druid,
It's Aquaman.
Yeah, you're
yeah,
just
but Aquaman was cool.
you're just fish man.
Also, for some
Fish
reason, you have
boy.
+1 to Strength, Con, and Charisma. Why do you have +1 to Charisma? You're a fish person.
Yeah, you
'Cause-
look like a fucking crazy person.
How much different is from Mott's? There's literally nothing different from Mott's.
They were just like, we gotta fill another page, lads. Copy paste the Triton in there.
They just changed the alignment text
That's hilarious.
because they're lawful good normally, and now they're neutral in Mott's.
If I were to make a fish race, like there'd be some kind of stipulation, like if you get wet, you have to be in water, or else you cannot breathe, or like you have to be totally dry if you're on land, or something. Something
Well,
interesting.
Yeah, I just make him the like the fish guy from Hellboy, where like he only breathes water, and so like you have to have some sort of apparatus that
Yeah.
like is like a rebreather for water around your neck that lets you breathe.
Yeah.
But they're like, nah, that's too hard.
Also-
Having interesting races is hard.
I'm pretty sure his name is Abe.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Abe like Simeon or something. Anyway, Triton's straight like D or F tier.
Yeah, Triton is fucking F tier because fuck Tritons.
I think they're probably better than Kenku, and probably I think
Yeah.
they're top of F tier
Yeah,
at
they're
this
top
point,
of F tier.
but they're not good. Zach played a
the
Triton.
dubious honor of top of F tier. Yeah,
Zach
wasn't
played
that
a
for
Triton.
Selena's?
Yeah, it was for Selena's campaign. He was a fish
Selena's
dad.
campaign that never actually ran for.
That lasted for 2 weeks, I think, and then
Dude,
she got pissed about the whole like fork in the road thing.
I have this
and then
really, really good mom character. I was super disappointed I didn't get to play.
Well,
Anyway.
you should
I
just
wasn't
put him in
there.
something else.
Yeah, no, I'm putting them into the campaign that I'm building, and they're just gonna be an NPC thing.
So I
Yeah.
will say, Warforged are either S tier or broken.
Warforged are straight broken. Warforged are so good.
Warforged have constructed resilience, which means advantage against saving throws against being poisoned and resistance to poison damage. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You're immune to disease. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. When you take a long rest, you spend 6 hours in active motion state, and you're unconscious. Your body
I feel like
has
they should
built-in
only
defense.
Be allowed as NPCs and only as cops and sci-fi things.
You gain +1 to AC. You can don honor when you have proficiency, and you incorporate into your body over the course of 1 hour instead of just putting it on. And while you live, your armor is incorporated in your body and cannot be removed without your will. You gain 1 skill and 1 tool proficiency, and you can read common in one other language of your choice. And these boys are straight broken.
It's just Terminator.
Do they still have the thing where like you get healed by mending? Because that shit's hilarious.
It's not written in here,
Okay.
but like being healed by
Because
a
that
cantrip
shit
would
is
be
hilarious.
funny.
That used to be a thing as far as I know.
Like cantrips are so like mending's a cantrip. Just having like just picking like magic initiate just to pick up mending to heal yourself would be hilarious.
Yeah, it's fucking Warforged is so insane. They're the fucking Terminator, dude. Like they're just ridiculous.
Yeah. Do we want to put Warforged in S tier or broken tier?
Oh, they're broken.
Do
They're
we think they're
unbelievably
more broken than changelings?
Yeah. I think
And-
they're the only thing they're less broken than is kobolds.
Right. So they're more broken
Because
than
kobolds just
Aarakocra.
win combat.
Yeah,
Like you
kobolds
could
are
just
like
have a party of kobolds and win everything.
yeah. Good times. Anyway, drum roll please. We have our last race. And boy is it one. It's the Yuan-Ti Pureblood.
A race that one person played in a thing that I was in, and I forgot that they played it,
I think
and so I don't know what they are.
in Selena's campaign somebody played a Yuan-Ti Pureblood.
Oh yeah, it was Meg, wasn't it?
Meg played a Yuan-Ti Pureblood, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, she played a Yuan-Ti because she didn't want to play a Pureblood. So
Oh, yeah,
she
played, like,
homebrewed a
straight
Yuan-Ti.
neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was Snick. So they have Dark Vision. They can cast Poison Spray and cast Animal Friendship. Unlimited number of times, but you can only target snakes with it. At third level, you can cast Suggestion. They're resistant. They have advantage on saving throws against spells. They're immune to poison, and they can read Common, Abyssal, and Draconic. They have +2 con, +1 int, and man, are these guys straight B tier.
Yeah, I put them at like the very bottom of B tier because fuck it.
I
They
know a
speak
lot of
to
people.
somebody, I'm sure.
I know a lot of people will say Yuan-Tis are like crazy overpowered S tier, but I do not see that at all, especially because like if they had the ability to transform into snakes, like just like use polymorph on themselves but only become a snake, I could see that be a lot more useful than
Yeah.
animal friendship, but you can only target snakes.
Yeah, animal friendship targeting snakes is just like your Harry Potter. Congratulations.
Yeah, good work. Anyway, that's the tier list.
This is
Hey.
this is a hell of a creation.
Yeah, this is gonna make some people happy and a lot of people really angry.
Yeah. They're gonna be like, why are dwarves higher than elves? Why are elves in C tier in the first place?
Well, it's okay. They
'Cause
won't know
elves
these
are
are elves
frickin' basic.
because they
Why
they
are
don't.
goblins S tier?
Yeah.
Why are fucking gnomes A tier?
Well, we know why goblins are S tier, and it's because they're really good at what they do.
They're goofy.
Yeah. I think everybody can agree that our broken tier is straight up broken, but I will say
Oh yeah.
3 out of the 4 races in broken I will allow at my table. And
Uh,
that's Changeling, Kobold, and Warforged because
I
I
would
think they're actually
allow
fun.
I would allow one of them unconditionally and two of them conditionally. And if you try and bring a fucking kobold to my table, I will just throw you over a bridge.
Remember when Alex and I were kobolds for Selena's campaign?
I
Yeah.
do, and it drove her insane in a day.
Well, it's not because we were good at combat, it's because I was a druid, and Alex is like, my whole thing is I only fuck you in animal form. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and you guys just like fucking double teamed everything. It was
Yeah.
That's the other thing about kobolds is like, God forbid you have two of them, because if you have two of them, then sunlight sensitivity literally disappears because
Because you're just next
they're
to each
both
other.
within 5 feet of the thing, and they both just magically have advantage again, and it's like, wow, all right.
Wow, okay. Yeah. It's 2 of them. But I'm glad to know I can't play a kobold for your campaign, so I will not. Which one do you allow unconditionally? Is it the
uh,
changeling?
yeah, I'd allow changelings pretty unconditionally, just because like I can manage you as a changeling. I can do things, whereas like the other mechanics, like there's just nothing I can fucking do about them.
Yeah, I
And like
like the
Warforged are just insane.
I like the
I
flavor of Warforged, but I know that they're super overpowered.
Yeah, I can conditionally allow Warforged, like because like you had your Warforged cleric that just like went around healing people.
Yeah, my like
Um,
I made them a robot that heals people based off the TF2 medic robots from Man vs. Machine. And it's like I don't attack people. I literally heal people and that's my job.
yeah, and I was like, sure, that's fine.
Circle of Life cleric.
Yeah, and like Aarakocra, like I'm just like, bruh, if you can fly at level 1, like no thanks.
Yeah, I think Aarakocra is like one of the few where it's like I don't think it's fun for anybody except for you. When you have flights, because you can just go off and be like, I'm gonna do this, and all the rest of the party's like, I'm gonna figure out how to get past this trap, and it's just like I'm gonna
Yeah.
fly past, go ahead, and then die instantly to like a goblin in the other room because I didn't wait for my party.
Yeah, well, and it's like, and people do come up and they're like, so you bitch about being able to fly, but like if your party has people who fly in it, just just like alter your encounters to account for that. And I'm like, well, if you prevent them from flying, then why the fuck are they allowed to do it in the first place?
Yeah,
Like either if only one person can fly in like your group, then either you have to design everything around that person being able to solve part of it through flying, or you have to get rid of the fact that they can fly in the first place, which basically means why did you let them play in Aarakocra? And it's just like
Mhm.
it's dumb.
Yeah, the alright, I forget what it's called. In one of the games, that we run at Renaissance Adventures, there are flying abilities, but there is
Mhm.
also like magic flying abilities. Any kid who can fly is just going to take off and do their own thing and be like, I want to ascend to the top of the highest mountain or travel to the moon. And then you're just like, sure, you go there. It's gonna take you all day.
You don't
You're
get to
not
play
gonna
the
be able to
game
be part of
anymore.
this.
Yeah.
And like they'll just check in every once like in a while and be like, all right, you're about this altitude. Here's what you see: a lot of green and a lot of blue.
Yeah,
And you're
and I
like,
mean, don't get me
wow.
wrong, don't get me wrong, like a lot of people, most people that are playing like 5e are not like 11-year-old kids who want to just like fly up and like waste everybody's time, right? Most of the people who are playing 5e are using an Aarakocra because of this specific fact that they can solve problems easier by being able to fly over them.
Yeah.
Um, and so like, there's just so many things where it's just like, you walk into the room and someone's like, this and like room's empty and someone's like, this seems suspicious, and so they do like a perception check and it's like, oh yeah, the whole floor of the room is trapped. And it's like, oh, well, I'll just get my Aarakocra friend and give him a rope. And they'll just fly over to the other side of the room and pin the rope into the wall, and we'll all just like shimmy across the rope. Problem solved. And you're
Mhm.
like, well, great. I'm really glad I wrote that thing.
I'm really happy I wrote this elaborate puzzle.
Yeah, and it's like,
Guess I'm taking an
well,
L.
yeah, and it's like if you do something like, I don't know, it's like the air in there is heavy and so you can't fly through the room, or like it's too thin so that your wings can't like get to their full wingspan or whatever. Like at that point, it's like, why did you let them take the thing where they can fly? Like,
Railroading them.
yeah, just you're literally taking away one of the things that is the reason why they play that character. So what the fuck?
Yeah.
It'd be like if every single dungeon had magical darkness, so that everyone who had dark vision couldn't see through it. It's like that's not that's not solving the problem.
It has magical darkness, but only so that like dark vision can't work, so you have to use torches.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that doesn't make it better. Like it just makes like it just makes things pointless, which is a lot of the problems that I have with a lot of the abilities in 5e. Is it's like, well, some of these are just so broken that if you want to run something where that person isn't just the best at these specific things, um, you have to just completely neuter their character in those situations, and that isn't fun for anybody. So
See, or you have to just make a giant balancing act of your dungeons where you have narrow hallways and then big open rooms and you have traps in both.
yeah, and like here's the thing is people are like, well, yeah, why don't you just do that? And it's like, because dude, I have a life, I have
Yep.
things to do with my life.
There's
I
too
don't
much
spend
time.
Yeah, I don't spend every waking moment designing these fucking dungeons with like the intricacies of my party in mind, and neither does any other fucking DM who's worth their salt. Like, you go in with an expect of like an idea of what your party will find fun, um, and you generally want to set up like rules and guidelines, um, such that when you go in, everybody's kind of on the same page. And sometimes you just have to ban shit in order to make that work.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right. Well, I'm gonna end the stream.
Hopefully
Thank.
my mic wasn't ultra crunchy because I went on a lot of diatribes.
Don't worry. I have fixed the sound issues, so you guys are no longer 20 to 50% louder than I am.
Yeah.
Woo. Anyway, thanks for joining
Yeah,
me here,
absolutely.
and thank you for watching this, if anybody does, and see ya.